Okay, welcome back. And it's going to be a fun day today. We got a lot of little tricks and tips and stuff that kind of help you out a little bit. Some you're going to go, who cares? Some may or may not work. I've been playing with them to see if they would work, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. So let's see what happens when we get started. So first things first, I need to share my screen. And hey, would you look at that? That looks like West Coast School. And for those of you that are not signed up, here's a chance to get into a great Photoshop class for a full week. 0 to 16 a week, West Coast School, the week of June 9th through the 14th. And it's going to be held in California again, believe it or not. What's the hotel, Mel?
The Hyatt Regency in Valencia.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be at the University of San Diego this year.
Or ever.
Or ever again.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that off camera. And
well, we'll talk about that tomorrow for those that are going to be on the West Coast School Town Hall Zoom.
There you go. And I won't be there because I have a class up here I'm going to, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So right now, what I did is I hit F, which changed my screen from the full screen here. Hit F, and you can see it changed my screen so you can just show what's on there. You don't have all the tools going around, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't like the color, you can right click, go to dark gray. You can right click, go to light gray, or select custom color. Hey, we could do bright red. There you go. That is so, oh, wow. I got to get rid of that. You could change to any color you want. So all you have to do is right click in the gray area or the dark area outside your image and pick the color that you want. I'm going to go with the dark gray just because it seems to work okay. So there you go. That's tip number one. And I hadn't even planned on doing that one, but I thought I would. Hit F again or hit escape and you get back out of it right away. So let's go ahead and delete that one.
Hey, Michael, also remember a bonus for that is if you're entering competition to try to get it close to the 18%, because as judges, that's the screen we look against. And that way you can make sure your image and your screen is same about your competition images are looking the same way we're seeing them.
Yeah, and that's pretty close to 18, but you can go in, right click, custom color, go to 50% on the gray, and it should, that didn't do it. Okay, let's try this. Custom color. Let's do 0, 0, and 50%.
Michael, while you're talking about this, possible future class discussion or whatever might be calibrating, talking about calibrating screens, because quite a few photographers over the years that I've talked to, when they tell me they're having printing problems or so forth, that's the first question is your monitor calibrated? And they don't know what that is, and that's probably why they're not getting the results that they want.
Yeah, and it's hard to show. It's hard to show how to calibrate using the different tools. You can talk about
it would
calibration.
be an off camera, an off camera type thing.
But yeah, you're right. You do need to calibrate your monitors or check your calibration on a regular basis. Also, one quick tip is if you like rulers, which I do, Command or Control R will bring up rulers for you. So let me close this out, click on here, Command R, that brings up my rulers. If you want pixels instead of inches, you just right click on the ruler, pick your pixels, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas, or percent. Sometimes when you're working with actions and you want to put something in the bottom right corner at 10% to the right, 10% from the bottom, you can click on percent and that's how you do it. And it'll do it every single time. I like working in inches. I like seeing where I'm at. So There you go. And a quick tip to close this, Command or Control W, gone. Here's a neat little trick that I knew I forgot, I knew I forgot. And if you don't use it all the time, it's like, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my shape tool, and the keyboard shortcut for that is U. And I'm going to click on here, and it says, do you want it 100 pixels by 100 pixels? Sure. From the center, okay. So I centered it, and now I have an image that is right smack there where I want it. Well, I want to make multiples of this go around the circle. So what I'll do is I would do a Command or Control T to free transform, go up to the top toolbar. Right next to the 100% is your degree measurement, and I'm going to say 20 degrees. And hit OK. And it just spun at 20 degrees. That's not what I wanted. I wanted it to move 20 degrees. Let me try that again. Command Z, Command Z. Put it back up there again. There we go. So let's do Command T again, free transform. And it should move it 20 degrees to the right.
The rotation only.
And it's rotating. Why is it rotating? I don't want it rotating. Oh, I can tell you why, because I screwed up. Again. I don't know why I keep doing that, but I do. So let's go ahead and go back again. Command Z. Oops. Escape. What I forgot to do is take my center spot and put it in the center of the image. Now let's try that again. Command T, drag it down, do 20 degrees. Hey, would you look at that? I did it right this time. Now, if I want to make more of them at 20-degree intervals, I hold Shift, Alt, Control, Shift, Option, Command, T. And do another one, and it goes all the way around like that, which is really cool. But that's at 20 degrees. Let's say you wanted to put 7 in there. So I'm going to go backwards, Command Z. Back to here again. And I want to put 7 in there. Can anybody tell me off the top of the head what the measurement would be for going around 7 times?
360 divided by 7.
Yeah, but how much time do you want to take doing that?
Just ask Alexa.
You want to do it 6 times, so it would be 60.
How about this? I go up here and I type in 360 divided by 7. And it didn't do it. Oh, there's a reason why. Remember that little dot that I'm supposed to put down in the middle? Let's try that again. 360 divided by 7. Perfect. We got it 1. So we'll hit Command Option Shift T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I now have 7 of them critters all measured out perfectly. So basically Photoshop did the math for me. If I only wanted 3, we'll go backwards. Ding, 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 ding. Drag this back down again. Command T first, then drag it down. This math I could do in my head, but why not let the Photoshop guys do it? 360 divided by 3. And do the left side of the keyboard and T, and now I have 3. So if you're making something like that, you can rotate it a little bit as well, and then make yourself the little fancy looking things on the side. So, make sense? Hopefully. So we'll get rid of that. Delete that layer, delete that layer. And let's see. Go to a different image. No, I can't do that image. Never mind. Let's do this. I'm going to select subject. So hit W and then select subject. It should pick out the plane all by itself and got most of it. I want the wing tip. Thank you. I should have held the shift key to do that. And got most of the plane. So I'm going to go Command J. And if everything works right, I have a jet all by itself up there. And now I got to remember what I was going to do to begin with. Let's go ahead and move him off to the left. Make him a little bit bigger. Command T. Hold the Option key. And you can see that it will move everything out equally. Hit OK. And if I just want to select that layer with that object, all I do is hold the Option or Alt key and click on the thumbnail, and it brings up just that layer. So you have just the layer that you just did. So what you do is hold the Option or Alt key, and it brings up just that layer. Click on here, Command 0, and you're back to normal again. I'm going to do some painting on here. So B for brush. And I got a nice gold color. So I'll paint over the top of that guy right there and say, oops, I screwed up. Well, the easiest thing to do is hold the tilde key, which is to the left of the 1. And it should unpaint. But it's not unpainting. I told you some things will not work for you. Should just be able to hold the tilde and paint, but it's painting with the background color, which is not what I wanted. Okay, so much for that one.
Is it Option tilde?
B for brush. No, Option is just bring up your brush picker or color picker in your brush. I don't know. That one blows me away. It's worked before for me, so okay. Color selection. This is one that a lot of people don't know. Let's do this. Hey, I said let's do this. What I want to do, there we go, I can do this now, is I want to select the blue that is inside of this image, but I'm working on this image over here on the right. So I hold my Option key while I'm in the brush tool, and that brings up my color picker. And anything I pick over here, if I pick the gray or I pick the sky or the clouds, it's going to get the color you want. But if I try to click over here, oh, it did it. Never mind. Okay. So all you have to do is anything that's in Photoshop that's open, you can do that. However, let's go ahead and pick out something different. So I'm going to hide bridge. You know what? Let's not hide bridge. Let's keep bridge open, bring back Photoshop. And let's say I want to paint in this sky with the gold that's in the other picture. I hold my Option key, and if I click over here, holding the Option key, it doesn't work. Trust me, it does not work. But if I hold the Option key, click on the blue, keep dragging over to this color over here, should pick up, which it's not, picking up the gold color. So that trick just didn't quite work. When you're doing live demos, you know something's going to go wrong. Well, it did. Okay, let's go to make my brush a little bit bigger. And you can all see my brush right there. If it disappears, there's a couple of things that happen. One, it's way too big, way too small, or you have your cap lock key on. Mine just happens to be the cap lock key. So when your brush goes to a plus sign like that, look at your cap locks to see if they're on. If I make it too big to where it goes out of the picture, come on. Wow. You can see that I have a plus sign there, but the brush is really huge. So all you have to do is look at your brush size in the top, which has disappeared on me, of course. Arrange, consolidate all the tabs. There we go, back in business. Okay. And go full screen again. Okay, right now, if you look at the brush size up in the upper left-hand corner is 5,000 pixels. That's as big as it's allowed to be. So it comes up and says, hey, I disappeared. So you just got to bring your brush size down or paint the whole picture. You can see if I paint the whole picture, it disappears. So, or on the opposite end of that, bring my brush size way down. And it takes forever to bring it down. It just pauses and says, I don't want to play for a while. And then you let go and it goes ding. You can see that there's no brush there because it's too small. It's 1 pixel. If I paint, you can hardly see it. Let's do D for default colors, and you can see the black that's painting there, 1 pixel. So if you have things disappear, it's either too big, too small, or your cap lock key is on. So just that easy. Easter eggs. I think most of you have seen this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick. Edit toolbar. I'm done. When you edit your toolbar, you get 3 dots down at the bottom down here on the left-hand side. Let's move it out to where we can see it. And we will go to edit toolbar. You can either do edit up at the top, down to toolbar, or click on the 3 dots. We'll do edit to toolbar, have everything out that I don't want, everything in that I do want. If I hold the shift key and click done, you get a banana in your toolbar. Just an Easter egg, something cool. So hold the shift key when you're done and it will bring you your banana. Lots of potassium, good to go. Let's go ahead and do this. Go to a couple of images right there. Open all these. Wait for it, open. That was shot with a 24 millimeter. He was a little close. Let's say I just want to keep the air show picture only open and close everything else. What you can do is go to File, Close Others. Don't save. And everything else is closed except for the air show picture. So you go File, Close Others. And if it's grayed out, you don't have anything else open. Guides. Working with guides can be a challenge. In fact, I had somebody send me a message this morning saying that when he opens up every image, he has a guide in there. I asked, is it happening with the camera raw images too, or just the JPEGs you open? He said, just the JPEGs. That's because when you saved it, it had guides open. So with this, one of the cool things is you can do all kinds of cool stuff with this. You can double click on the guide. And it brings up your preferences. So you can change the color of your guides. So if you don't like cyan, you can change it. Like if you wanted a red guide, you could change it to red or whatever color you like. I just leave it like it is for the defaults and go from there. So you can also bring them down out of the ruler just by dragging them down. And you can see where the axis is right now. It's at 2.573 inches from the top. And you can put them anywhere you want in there. You can hold the shift key and the option key and make a new one. You can hold the option key only and change it to vertical, or double click again and it's gone. So you can do all kinds of weird stuff to this. And the one that's active right now is blue. If I go to this one, the blue one will go back to cyan. And if you want to get rid of them, go to View, Guides, Clear Guides. If you want to do one at 50% so you can find the center on this, the easiest way is go to View, Guide, New Guide, type in 50% and it's vertical, and then do the same thing again, View, Guide, New Guide, and you can make a keyboard shortcut for that if you use it all the time. 50%, and we'll do horizontal, and now we have the exact center of the picture for you. It's just that quick. So undo those. I have on the toolbar on the right hand side on my layers panel, I have the lock button here. So if I click on lock, if I decide I want to paint on my jet that's on the second layer, which is the big jet, and we're going to go to D for default to make it black. You notice I'm not painting outside the lines. If I decide I want to move it, all I have to do is drag it around and everything stays there. If I want to lock it in place so I don't accidentally move it, there's a lock off to the right, and you can see it locks just like the background layer. It does a lock over there. So if I try to move that layer, it won't move. Could not move it because the layer is locked. So if you keep accidentally moving your layers when you're moving things, lock that layer in place and you're okay. Unlock it, unlock that one, you can move it, you can paint outside the box, and all that fun stuff. Okay, what else I got? Renaming layers. Okay, let's do Command J. I want to name the top layer Superjet. So double click on the name that says layer 1 copy 5, call it Superjet. And if I could type, it would work wonderfully, but it doesn't. I see a lot of people go down to the next layer and double click on it, Superjet. We'll just say Super 2. Well, the easiest way to do that is hit the tab key and it goes down for you. Super 3, Super 4, Super 5, Super 6. You just hit the tab key, go down to the next one. So you don't have to double click on each and every one. And if you decide, well, I want to go upwards, hold the shift key along with the tab and it goes up. And if you hit it too many times, it goes away. So that's a quick, easy shortcut. Saves you a little bit of time double clicking. What is it? 1 second, 2 seconds each time. Let's say I'm in the brush tool and I'm painting around the tail of my jet here. And I want to zoom in on the jet. I don't have to hold or hit the zoom tool or Command plus to zoom in. I can hold Z for zoom and then just zoom in on that area, let go, and I'm back in my brush tool again. That's called spring-loaded tools. And so if you want to do color sampler, hold the I key for the eyedropper tool, click your sample, let go, and you're back in your brush tool. If you want to use any of the other tools, all you do is hold it down, whatever the keyboard shortcut is, let it go, and you're back in it. The problem is when you're in your presets, I gotta find out where this is at again. I should have looked it up ahead of time. Spring-loaded keyboard shortcuts right here. I think the default is at 200 or 220. So if you tap it and hold it too long, what'll happen is if I hit the zoom key, it should zoom in and out, no problem. If I hold it for too long, zoom, and it goes back to the brush tool, there's a problem because you don't want it. You wanted to change tools by hitting the keyboard shortcut. So hit my keyboard shortcut, and then hopefully we can make it bigger. There we go. So if you are at 220 and you do that, your spring-loaded shortcuts are not going to work. They're going to come back and stay in the tool that you, or not stay in the tool. So it's like hitting a keyboard shortcut and then boom, it's all messed up again. So rotate tool. How many people use?
How
Yes.
did you come up with that 754 milliseconds? You just trial and error, or
MSU?
Pardon?
MSU.
Oh, okay.
Make stuff up. Actually, the official version is something else, but this is being recorded. I just trial and error basically,
Okay.
knowing that the 220 was really short, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't change keyboard shortcuts or kept going back. And it's like, what the heck? So finally I looked at that and found out that's the clue. So I just hit, originally I put it at 800 and I think I changed it again when I did another program. So
Okay.
it gets changed all the time. Around 800 is a good number because 800 milliseconds is going to be close to a second.
Right.
Okay. And rotate tool. Rotate tool. I don't have the rotate tool in here. In fact, I got rid of the keyboard shortcut for the rotate tool, which is R. And so let's go here, go to rotate tool wherever it's hidden.
3/4 of the way down.
Oh. Thank you. Here's my rotate tool. So I can rotate it, and it's like, holy cow, now what do I do to get out of it? The fastest way out of this is if you still have it in your toolbar, just click on the rotate tool again, and it should go away. So just click on it, double click, and it's back to normal. Or if you're locked in like this and you can't remember how to get out, the magic tool is escape. Just hit escape and it goes away. And I've had a couple people call me and say, hey, I got stuck. My rotate tool's turned and I don't know how to fix it. Hit escape. Okay. Let's say This guy's really, really big, so I need to make him really small and go like this. Okay, if I decide that I want to do a free transformation on him, so I hit Command T, I can see my transformation dot here, but I can't see the other ones. The fastest way to find them is Command 0, Control 0, which goes full screen and shows you the entire thing. And then you can just bring it down and make it where you want it. With free transform, it used to be you had to hold the shift key to do a transformation and keep it together. If I hold the shift key now, I can make it wobbly instead. Except Command T. If you go up here and unlock between the width and the height, turn the lock off. Now, if I do that, I can make it wobbly without holding this. You have to hold the shift key to make it straight. So if you change your settings on your transformation, doing something, and all of a sudden your free transform's not working correctly, check up here at the top, make sure that the link is selected, and you got it made. So we already did that. And keyboard shortcuts, Command Option Shift K. All your keyboard shortcuts are in here. I have keyboard shortcuts, and if you click on the word summarize right here, it made a file for me. I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can find it. It's called Mike's Modified. Save. It's already there, so I'll replace it. There's all my keyboard shortcuts that I have in my system as of right now. So you can go in and look and see lock layers, Command plus. Cool, good to know. Merge visible, Command E. Shift Command E. Flatten image, I don't have, but I could make it in there because I do a lot of flattening. Select all, Command A. Deselect, Command D. Reselect, Shift Command D. So all those are in there and saved. And so if you want to find out what you got, you go to your keyboard shortcuts. So it's Shift, Alt, Control, Shift, Option, Command, and then K will get you to this point here. And so you just keyboard shortcuts, hit summarize down on the bottom right hand corner, and you have all your stuff. Any questions on that one? Going once, going twice. Stop sharing. Welcome back to reality. So when you have problems at home and your computer doesn't want to play, Photoshop doesn't want to play, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. As you can see, mine was supposed to use some shortcuts that didn't work. They worked when I tried them out, but when you add it on to Zoom, Zoom says, oh, watch this. I'm going to mess with you something fierce. So if you want to do a full week of this monotonous Photoshop stuff, actually, we have a lot of fun. Those that have been in my class, West Coast School is a lot of fun.
Summer camp for photographers. You
got that right. And it's a blast. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn all kinds of stuff. And it works easier with a projector than it does with Zoom. Things work much, much better. And we can see how to fix them. Some of these mistakes I made on purpose so you could see how to fix them. Right.
That's your story and you're sticking to it, right?
That's what Julianne says the same thing. So all I can say is stuff happens.
Michael, the only thing I was going to throw out there as well, I ran into a problem a couple of years ago, and that is that Adobe asked me to do some testing on some of the betas. And one of the things that they didn't say, but it is out there, that few people might want to know, definitely when you set up your shortcuts or you set up your toolbars, you need to save those and save them on your desktop or somewhere else, because if you do upgrade to a new version, or if you have total disaster and have to reinstall Photoshop, those are not saved unless
Also
you
your brushes.
specifically said to save them.
Mike,
So,
your brushes.
Yes, brushes, all your
everything.
preferences, all your
Yeah.
brushes, your actions, your preferences,
Yeah.
tool presets, all those need to be saved somewhere where you can find them.
Yeah,
Where
that
where
might
did
be
I
a
put
good
those?
that might be a good little thing to put out
Actually,
there,
that
since
would
we're
be.
going through all of those locations, because besides brushes, but definitely tools and the shortcuts, because
Yeah.
I don't know how many people here are making their own shortcuts, but you do know that when you go in and you change a shortcut, it will tell you that you're changing one that Adobe had set as something else. Sometimes you just get so used after the years of hitting certain key combinations, you forget that you did that. That wasn't an Adobe setting. And
Right.
it was a real shell shock for me to have lost all of those. So that HTML that you just printed out that shows it's great, but it makes it a lot easier if you save them so you can import them and not have to redo all of those from a piece of paper.
Most definitely.
So, yeah.
And when you make your changes in Photoshop, you have to shut down Photoshop the right way, basically close, then reopen it for those to really take effect. If you don't, and your computer locks up, Photoshop locks up, and you have to do a reboot, your tools or your presets won't be saved.
Right.
So, that's probably a good idea to talk about next week, is tool presets and
Yeah.
presets and stuff, how to save them and where to locate
It's so
them.
infrequent when that happens that it's a real pain in the ass when it does happen.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Luckily, it's never, ever happened to me. Apparently you guys
Never
don't believe
say
me.
never.
Yeah, it's really frustrating when that happens. So we'll do that next week then.
Okay.
We're going to do,
Well, the reason I brought it up is because I had another issue recently with Adobe with the beta, and I don't know how many of you are using beta, but it updates really frequently.
all the time.
And when I checked with the rep down there, they, of course, when I discover something after an hour of screwing around with something, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, you're supposed to do that." And I said, "The problem is you're supposed to let me know ahead of time. I'm not supposed to be figuring this out." So
Yeah.
thank you. Those were some great tips today, though.
Cool. Yeah, I wish they would have gone perfectly, so that would have. It's just the way it is, though. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll kill the recording so you can say what you want to say then.